I don't know where this pom-pom is supposed to go exactly. Hey there, YouTube. It's Tinka Tuesday. Woo! And the sun is out today. It's a sunny day. I was so excited to see that. I'm always so excited to see that, especially this time of year when it's very cold. When it's summertime, it gets very hot here, so the sun in summer, I'm kind of like, whatever, it's going to be hot either way. And sometimes the sun in the summertime will make it too hot for me, especially, but this time of year when it's cold, I just love the sun so much. Oh, Tinka Tuesday. Oh, and I was able to get out today. I'm here at the club, about to start my shift pretty soon. It is 3:11. So yeah, I got a little bit of time to work with today, more time than I did yesterday anyways. Yesterday, I only had about half an hour to do my video before I had to sign in for work. So today I have closer to like 45 minutes, which is a little better. Oh, and I am parked in the same exact parking spot as I was yesterday. I am on the left side of the parking lot today and the first spot on the left side. Same exact spot as yesterday. So this is my second favorite spot. My favorite spot to park is the first spot on the right, but close enough. So yeah, I was able to get out today and I worked till close last night, 10-hour shift. Very, very slow towards the end, so I probably could have left a little earlier than I did, but as usual, it was very bad timing for me. I washed and dried 3 pairs of socks in the sink at the club last night, and it took me a long time to dry them with the blow dryer up in the dressing room. So right as I was like wrapping that up, the DJ very rarely will give me a heads up before I'm on stage. Like, I'm one of those kinds of people that needs a song or two in advance to know that I'm next. I mean, I try to check the board and like keep track in my head of when I'm next as best I can, but when I'm busy doing something like that, especially, and I have the blow dryer going so I can't really hear stuff very well, yeah, basically my name was called before I was ready and when I didn't realize that I was going to be next. So I was still like blow drying my socks and I was like barefoot and I was like rushing to like put my socks on and my shoes on to go on stage. And there had been like nobody there up until that point for a while, or like very few guys. And all of a sudden this group of like younger guys comes in that look like they might actually tip. They're like going up to the stage. But they actually came in right as I was getting off the stage, and this happens all the time. So I missed out on that. And then I could have left then, but I figured if I stayed until like a little bit longer, maybe I would have another chance, like another round to go on stage while they were still there. And then maybe I would get to like, you know, try to get them at the stage then. But they literally, this happens all the time to me. This is very bad timing. They came in right as I was getting off the stage, and that stage I wasn't prepared for. I mean, I was just not ready to go on there. And then they left at the end of the night right before I was going back on. So I was like waiting. I stayed like longer, like specifically to try to have another chance to like have them at the stage when I was on. And literally same thing. They left right as I was about to go on for the second time they were there. So that was just bad timing for me. And yeah, very typical though, unfortunately, for how things tend to go for me. So if I hadn't stayed specifically to try to take a chance with that group, then I could have left a little bit earlier and had more time to work with today. But I am still proud of myself for what I was able to get, like what I was able to do so far today, because I did still work the 10-hour shift last night, you know, past midnight and all of that. So I'm not going on very much sleep now today. You know, after that, I pretty much rushed back to my apartment, got a little bit of sleep and came right back out. But I was able to, I have to get my car inspected this month, and the place that I normally go to is apparently closed now. So I've been going to that place for years and years. And so now I was like, all right, I don't know what I'm going to do for this time. But then I thought, well, I recently had to get my car worked on, I think like last month or pretty recently. So I was like, I really hope that place that worked on my car does inspections, because when they worked on my car before, they pretty much like gave me a checklist of all the stuff they had looked over and said that I was like good on everything else after they worked on my car. So I wanted to think if I bring it to them, hopefully I'll have a pretty decent chance of passing the inspection, because they literally said that I would, and like checked pretty much everything that would be checked for an inspection. So I was like, all right. And then if they give me a hard time or say anything, I can just be like, well, you guys were the ones that just worked on my car, so you said it was going to be good. I just came here to you guys like last month, so they even gave me the paperwork, which I have somewhere. So I was like, okay. Oh gosh, you know what I just realized, you guys? Yeah, anyways, so I was able to make that appointment today. I called them on the phone earlier, and then I was able to get to 2 grocery stores before I got here to the club. But so that was good. But I just noticed that it's really frustrating. Every time I put my phone in lately to charge when I'm doing these videos, the radio thing on my dashboard wants to go on, so it's on right now. So this video I just realized might be muted, which really sucks. Normally, so like where, oh gosh, on the dashboard where it says where the radio is, like, you know, when you put the radio on and it says in the dashboard what station you're on, or then if you plug in your phone, it'll say like the name of the song and the artist that sings it on the dashboard. When I plug my phone in lately to do these videos, it says no album, no artist, no title, and there's like a timestamp going for this. Oh my gosh, it says, the timestamp says the same thing as this YouTube video. Crap. That is so frustrating. So normally I make sure to shut it off. I'm not sure if having it on makes a difference, but I'm starting to think it probably might. Oh my God, that's so frustrating. If I don't have my phone plugged in, doing these videos sucks the battery in like 2 minutes. Now oh God, it is so frustrating. I was so excited to come on and do this video because I thought I had a little more time today, and now it's like I don't know if I should restart it or I'm just gonna shut it off. Oh God. Okay, so I shut it off. I don't know if that's gonna make a difference, but normally I try to shut that off before I start the video. But I think because I hate technology, I can never figure this crap out. So now I have 40 more minutes I can do this video. If it's gonna be muted, that's basically 40 minutes of like my time wasted that I could be going into the club to get a head start. That is frustrating. Do you guys like my hat? Oh God. I have my notes here. Oh gosh, wearing this hat hopefully some people are lip readers. This is so frustrating. Like, and it never used to do this, I don't think. It's just always something going on to like mess with my electronics. Like my laptop back at my apartment, it's, if somebody else could witness what it's like being on that thing or like being on my phone, it's like, it makes me not want to do anything, honestly. Like, it's like I'm not, everything logs me out automatically, and it's like such a hassle to try to re-sign into stuff. My Facebook keeps signing me out, and then it's like, if you want to sign back in, we're going to send your phone 5 different codes that you have to type in. And my phone feels dirty to me because I use it when I'm out and about. So for my laptop, when I go on my phone, after I'm on my phone, I feel like I need to wash my hands before I touch anything else in my apartment, because my phone just feels gross. Because it's like, I use it, like everything that's like my outdoor stuff feels gross, and I try to keep my indoor stuff separate as best as I can. And all my indoor stuff, I want to like shower and wash my hands before I touch it, even though other people seem to go into my apartment when I'm not there anyway, so it's like all messed up anyway. But I just try to do the best I can to like, everything just grosses me out. So yeah. So yeah, my accounts on my laptop sign me out. Some of them I can just sign back in. I like keep my passwords saved. My Facebook though, like wants to send all these different codes to my phone, to where I'm just like, that's not worth the hassle. Everything on my Facebook is just like me seeing people from high school actually having like good stuff going on in their lives, and then there's like me that's just like struggling and suffering still and just complaining about it all still. And then all the other posts are just like poison for my brain, basically. So I'm just like, that's not worth the hassle to try to sign back in. Pretty much everything else that I do on the internet on my laptop is just like, wow, this is not worth anything. This is not worth, it's just, you know, distraction, really, like entertainment distraction. But I'm also just like, wow, what's the point of me like looking at this stuff? Like literally just to distract myself and help myself try to fall asleep on my days off, I guess, or just to distract my brain from other stuff it's stressed out about, I guess. I don't know, but then that stuff will just stress me out too in different ways. So I don't know. Anyway, this is so annoying because I feel like this whole video is just going to be muted because of my stupid car and phone. I don't know how this stuff is like doing what it's doing. Well, I did make the appointment for my car for this Thursday, so the appointment is for 2 o'clock. Hopefully I can get out a little bit earlier and maybe just do a video on Thursday. I guess I'll just try to have this one not be that long. But I was gonna say, do you guys like my hat? Because I honestly don't, but it's like the only kind of Christmas hat that I have right now. So, but do you know, like wearing this right now, I feel like, you know, when people like dress up their pets, like, I don't know, especially like when people like try to put clothes on their cats, and it's like this like chubby, angry looking cat that just like looks pissed off. I feel like an animal, like somebody's like pet cat, just like that somebody dressed up, and the cat's just sitting there for the picture, and then the human wants to take a picture of the cat, and the cat's just like not having it, but kind of just like gives up and just sits there with a grumpy face. Like, that's not a good face for it. I'm trying to do the cat face that they do in the pictures. I can't do a serious face right now. As upset as I am, I just like, I'm one of those people that laughs when I'm upset and when I'm stressed out. So like internally it's like so much anguish and agony and suffering, and I'm just like, on the surface I'm just like smiling and laughing a lot of the time through it, because that's just like my body's like built-in defense system. I guess basically a masochist at this point. Like, yes, more suffering. It never is gonna stop. I can never get enough. There's always more and more and more. It never runs out, unlike other things, unlike the good stuff. With the bad stuff, you don't have to worry about it running out. Like, there's no stress about it stopping or like running out, or you have to like do stuff to keep it going. It's just like this automatic, like self-fueling, self-sustaining thing that you don't have to, you can just step back and let it do its thing, and it does it all by itself, and it's one thing I don't have to work at. So if you can train yourself to like fuel off of like the crappy stuff and like almost be a masochist by default. For me, it's not by choice. I don't actually like to suffer or struggle or be upset, but I feel like I have no choice in the matter, like so many other things. It's just what the universe and other people have like set upon me to be my reality that I really have no say or choice in. So it's like, all right, I guess I'll just try to adapt as best I can. If that's the way it's going to be and I can't fix it or stop it or change that, then I'll just make it work for me as best I can, I guess. And then once you kind of get into doing that, it's like, yeah, it's one thing you don't really have to work at. Like everything else you have to work so hard at to like sustain and, you know, but it's like that will just does it by itself pretty much. That's just how it, like the default, how it automatically is. It's just like bad and struggling and just constant like uphill, you know what I mean? Uphill battle stuff, like self-sustaining just does it all on its own. It's interesting to me. Anyway, well, once again, I have all these notes that I wanted to talk about today, but I just feel like this video is gonna be muted now, so I'm just kind of like put off of trying to really get into too much now, because yeah, it's gonna be wasted time. I don't know. It's really frustrating. Well, one thing I can say that's been on my mind a lot lately and for a while now, not just lately, but for quite a while, the person next door to my apartment, I live in a building where there's quite a few other people. There's probably at least 10 other units, other apartments in that building. But the person directly next to me, they must either be on some kind of assistance, financial assistance, or work from home, or maybe a combination of both, because they are constantly there. They're literally never not there that I've seen. They're there day, night, afternoon, evening, 24/7 it seems. There's been like maybe once or twice in the past year, okay, maybe a few times more than that, but it's very, very rare that I go out and don't see their car there in the driveway. They're just always there, and it seems, and it works out great because they can see my car from the way their windows are and the side of the building they're on. They're on the side of the building that overlooks the driveway, so they can see when I'm there and when I'm not, based on if my car is there. Whereas I'm on the other side, so when I look out the windows, I can't see my car, I can't see the driveway. So that sucks. But then I can pretty much usually tell when they're there anyways, because they just, yeah, always seem to be there, and I can hear them through the walls. And it's like, yeah, I hardly make anything here at the club as a dancer. Nobody really seems to like me here, despite how hard I try to work here. And so I'm basically like living off my savings that I got from another job a while ago, you know, gradually spending that on basically my apartment. I try to keep my spending as little as I can. You know, I'll try to save a buck any way that I can. And so most of my savings is pretty much just going towards my apartment. I'm spending a lot, you know, like over the years. I've been there for quite a few years. And it's like my days off, or when I'm not here at the club, or when I'm not out doing whatever it is I have to do, I really can't even enjoy being there very much, because I just feel that person always there. And it is a male, by the way, which is another big part of the reason it bothers me so much. Luckily, when I've seen them in the driveway, they seem to be more of a slender build and a younger guy. So it's not like, you know, like a tall, like big man, which would obviously be much worse in my brain. but it's still a male and it's still a human. So I think anyways, I'm pretty sure from what I've seen. I don't know. These days you just never know, do you? But just hearing them on the other side of the wall hurts my brain. It hurts me physically. Like, I feel pain from it. Like, it bothers me so much. And I just don't understand how people can have roommates or live with other people. Like, I need my space so badly. I just, like, even here at the club, it's like, I try to find anywhere I can to just not be around other people when I'm not on stage. Like, I'm constantly just like moving around, just like if a person comes into the room where I am, the dressing room, the bathroom, wherever it might be, I'm relocating somewhere else. It's just like this constant movement around the club of just like wherever I can find the least amount of people and the most amount of space for myself, which is very difficult because there's like, it's a strip club, so there's just always people everywhere, just like pig piled on top of each other. That's how it is for poor people in the world, it feels like. We're just pig piled on top of each other pretty much everywhere we go, everywhere we can get to be. You know, so I just hear them. They're not even that loud. I mean, they kind of are sometimes, like banging stuff and like slamming, like opening and closing drawers. They kind of like slam them like all hours of the night. So yeah, they are kind of loud. But not always. It's more so just like feeling a presence of another human, like in that kind of proximity to myself where I'm like, it just hurts. It hurts me. Like, I just feel pain from it. And it stresses me out psychologically, emotionally, even physically. Like, I feel sick from it sometimes. Like, just the anxiety, and I just don't want them there to such an extreme extent, like so badly. I just wish they would not be there. Not all the time even, but just like some of the time, to where I could just get a break and just feel like I finally have a moment for myself. That never seems to happen. I never feel like I have time or space for myself ever, really. Like, that's why I love to be asleep. I mean, I'm terrified to be asleep because, like, being vulnerable, like somebody could, like, sleep is like a vulnerable state to be in, so I'm scared of that. But just to not be conscious in my actual reality of how things are when I'm awake, that part's nice, I guess. So, I hate being conscious. I'm terrified to be asleep, but I hate being conscious so much more than I am scared to be asleep, I think. So anyways, a lot of times what I'll do lately, I already have background noise, like a song playing over and over on my iPod, and I'm scared to try to change the song. It's been going for so long now, so many years, and it's actually a song that I used to dance to here at the club. It was like my prime time song that I would like really do some crazy moves for on stage, like dropping down from the top of the pole into a split, and then switching sides from the split. This was a split where it was like one leg in front of the other. It wasn't the middle split. It was a split where one leg goes in front and one leg goes in back. So I would climb to the top of the pole. Then for the bass drop in the song, I would come down from the top of the pole, which is like a good 15 feet or so, into the split on one side. And then I would quickly switch the split to the other side and just kind of keep doing that to different parts in the song. So I can't do that anymore. At least I don't think I can. And I certainly haven't tried to do it for quite a few years now. This was like back in the day when I was in much better shape and just younger, obviously. But that same song still plays on repeat in my apartment over and over. But sometimes and the volume is up very high on that, and I'm afraid to change it on the iPod, because when I've tried to change the song on the iPod before, it's this weird like AI like robot voice. Like, I don't know if it's Siri or Alexa or who it is, but they come on in the background and like yell at me. Like, it'll just like mess up and like say the name of the song over and over, but in a weird way that's like not quite right, where it just sounds like purgatory, or it just sounds like something's just very wrong, like in my reality and on that iPod, and just like something's not right. So granted, the speakers that this song is playing on, these are speakers that I used to have as far back as like 2000. Well, I used to have these same speakers when I was with my ex. My ex and I broke up in 2012. But we had these speakers even before then. We started dating in 2007. Actually, technically 2006, but we were like in our own apartment together, like with those speakers. Well, we were in our own apartment together, like various different apartments throughout the years, but we started doing that, like living in an apartment together in 2007. So from 2007 to 2012, we were together in apartments, and at some point we got those speakers, and yeah, I still have them to this day somehow, and somehow they still work and play that song over and over on my iPod. But that iPod is just so messed up to where I kind of just try to leave it be and not touch it, because again, if I do touch it, it'll mess up. Okay, so just on a side note, I want to think that hopefully this video isn't muted, because it says there's 10 people in here right now. So why would 10 people be watching a video that's silent? I'm gonna try to remember that. I'm saying it out loud because I gotta try to call YouTube out for this, like when I can remember to, because it just doesn't make sense. Like this video would have to have audio if there's 10 people watching. There's not gonna be 10 people watching somebody mime words. Anyway, so yeah, normally I pretty much just always have that song playing on my iPod in the background for like background noise, to try to like blur out a little bit of the sounds that I can constantly hear from the person next door to me. But sometimes that's not enough, especially like, I don't know, on my days off, or when I'm just getting back from running errands or being at work, and it's like I'm trying to like prepare a meal for myself, or a meal with bunches and bunches of popcorn basically usually. Although I'm trying to break that habit. I'm on a kick of trying to break that habit again, which never seems to last, but anyway, so yeah, other times I will add, I have this white noise maker on my kitchen counter that makes different sounds, like, I don't know, different types of sounds, like white noise. And I usually put it on one that's like an ocean sound, so it sounds like waves in the ocean. So I'll add that, and I'll turn the volume all the way up on that. So I'll have that going, the iPod song playing, and then other times I'll also put the radio on. So I did this recently where I had the radio turned with the volume all the way up as well. So I had these 3 different sound devices going: the radio, the white noise maker, and the iPod. But on the radio now, it's like pretty much Christmas music. So, which is, you know, pretty much a hell of all on its own, like a whole different kind of hell of its own, basically. So I guess maybe some people might like Christmas music, but I have to be in a certain kind of mood to get into it, like a very silly kind of weird mood, which I do get into those moods sometimes, like especially here in my YouTube, but most of the time a lot of times I'll be in a bad mood, especially when I'm really bothered by hearing the person next door to me. So, you know, like, yeah, that puts me in a pretty bad mood back when I'm at my apartment and just want some space for myself, and I can just hear and sense this presence and feel this presence like right there all the time. So I'll crank up this horrible Christmas music sometimes lately, to where that noise of them bothers me so bad that I would literally rather listen to Christmas music, which is awful. Like, you know it's bad, you know something bothers you when you'd rather listen to Christmas music over that. Anyway, so that's not that exciting, but that's just something I wanted to mention. Anyway, so my shift yesterday, that was a Monday. I did work 10 hours, so overall it was a pretty crappy shift. Nothing new there. I remember at the start of it, there were a few dollars stuck above the stage. I was able to reach 2 of them. There were like, I think 2 more a little bit further out. So I went upstairs, I couldn't reach those. So I went upstairs to my locker, I got my flower, my like long stemmed fake flower. Tried to reach them with those, still couldn't do it. I kind of almost could, but I was so tired. That pole was so slippery that I just eventually gave up. It's kind of sad about that. I was like, we'll just save those for another day. But honestly, I don't think I'm going to bother to try to get them today either, because they're just, the pole's just too slippery. I mean, that thing just, I don't know what they're doing to it, but it's not right. I did climb it a few times last night, but it was just so awful. And, you know, like I'll get kind of to the top. And lately, like last night especially, I was doing this thing where when I do that, when I climb the pole, I have to grip with every part of my body that is coming into contact with the pole. I have to grip that thing for dear life. Like I have a lot of like marks on my skin from it, like the parts on my legs, and I mean, you should see the calluses on my hand. Like my hands, the calluses are ridiculous. Probably like worse than most carpenters or like big beefy men that have like jobs where they're like doing stuff with like tools, and I mean, they're bad calluses that I have in my hands from that pole. And I also get like pole burn in certain areas on my legs and stuff where I grip the pole the most. But lately, and last night especially, I've been doing this thing lately where if I just loosen, I'm gripping that pole for dear life, like as tightly as I possibly can. Like it's like 100%. I can't do 99%, it has to be 100. It's just so slippery. And if I loosen that grip on any part of my body, my legs, my hands, even like 1%, lately I slide all the way down to the bottom of the pole pretty much very, very fast. And it's actually kind of fun. It's fun because normally that kind of thing should give a person pole burn, or it should kind of like pull at their skin a little bit. It's that kind of thing would typically hurt. There should be some kind of traction there against your skin. But lately there's absolutely none whatsoever. It's that slippery to where it feels like I'm sliding down a piece of ice, except it's not as cold, thankfully. But it's that slippery. I mean, there's no traction at all. It's like and it's kind of fun. Yeah, it's like a ride. It's like, whoa, it takes like 2 seconds and then I'm all the way back down to the bottom. So it's kind of like a rush. It kind of like feels good in your stomach and it's like, whoa. But it is really scary because, you know, there's a lot of times I still don't want it to be that slippery. And rather than doing that, I would still rather do my pole tricks. I'd still rather, which I did still manage to do last night a few times, especially towards the end of the night. I was still really pushing myself to try to warm my body up as best I could before coming back outside. I think it was like, I don't know, it was pretty cold last night. 20 degrees maybe. I think at one point it was like 13. It was well below freezing, so it was definitely very cold last night. So yeah, I remember it was taking almost pretty much everything I had left in me at that point. But because I did end up staying till the end of the night, even though that group of guys that came in towards the end of the night had already left. They left just before I went back on stage, which really sucked. But I still was like, all right, I'm still going to try to like go on the pole, do some pole tricks, warm my body up as best I can. And I did manage. I had already gone upside down in the pole earlier in the night a few times, but I did make a point very specifically to climb the pole and go upside down and do some pole tricks at least 3 more times before the end of the night. So yeah, this was probably the last 20 minutes, maybe 15 minutes of the night. But I did do that. And after the first 2 times, I really didn't want to go for the third, but I was like, just the OCD in me was like, I just need to get that number 3. Just so I can say it was 3 times. And I actually took out these notes that I have here and I wrote down as something for me to mention today that I did that I climbed the pole 3 times, then went upside down 3 more times. I was like, I'm going to create this reality for myself and manifest this. So I wrote that down before I did the 3rd time, and I was like, I wrote it down, so I have to do it now. And then after I wrote down these notes right on the stage, I did it again. I did that 3rd time. I climbed the pole, went upside down, did some pole tricks. So I got that 3rd time and made these notes accurate and true, and I was happy about that. Actually, it's funny because when I started my shift earlier in the night, it was very, very slow. A lot of times, Mondays especially, will be very, very slow when I first get there, like in the afternoon. So at one point, this was kind of like in the shift between day shift and night shift. So, you know, like after the sun had gone down, after I had signed in already, but the night shift hadn't quite started yet. So at one point I was practicing some stretching, and there's a tip rail by the DJ booth, like facing the DJ booth, that I like to try to stretch out on, like trying to like work on my middle splits stretching. So I was doing that for a while, and I was trying to hold that stretch for like as long as I could stand to, which is very, very painful for me. But so I had my legs out to the sides doing my middle split stretching like that for a while, and I got my notes out and put them in front of me at one point. So I was actually like working on my notes like while I was doing that stretch on stage. I've done that before, but I don't do that very often, but I kind of think it's, I don't know, cute. Like I get a kick out of it when I do it, because you know, I'm just like stretching, working on my notes up there. Oh, and I'm glad that I did do that stretch practice like that for a while, because it had been a while since I did this move that I like to try to do, where I go down into a middle split without using my hands. So yeah, I'll be standing and then I'll turn my feet out to the sides and I'll come down into the middle split, but I'm not allowed to use my arms or my hands, or I'm not allowed to touch the stage with anything but my feet, basically, and my legs. So I have to use my core and my hips and all of that to go down into the split from a standing position, but I can't steady or balance myself. I can't touch the stage floor with my hands at all. My hands have to stay in the air. I don't get to do that very often these days. It's just such a painful thing for me. And yeah, for me to even dare to try to do that kind of thing these days, I really have to make a point to stretch a lot beforehand. So I did it one time last night and oh my gosh, that shiz, S-H-I-Z, not T, S-H-I-Z, okay, shiz, that shiz hurt a lot, but I did it anyway. Oh, I have 10 more minutes. Ugh. So one of the floor hosts found this pink garter. I lost it last Tuesday night, 1 week ago. I lost it last Tuesday at the end of the night. It was after I got my tarot card reading, which I posted a picture of last night. One of the tarot cards, the last one she drew, said something about attachment, and shortly after that I lost this pink garter, and I was like, oh wow, that's definitely a sign. Like I just have to let go sometimes of things and feelings. And I was honestly so upset that I lost this pink garter. I know it's just a garter belt, but it's pink and it's like my favorite one. I keep it here on my bag, like tied on my bag, on the outside handle of my bag, like, you know, I was so upset that I thought I lost that. But one of the floor hosts like showed it to me last night. He was like, look what I found. I was like, oh my gosh. I thanked him like 5 times throughout the night. I was like so excited he found that. So that made me really happy. And another thing that I accomplished today, I've been doing a lot of laundry, washing by hand in the sink lately. I mean, that's normally how I do laundry, but like lately I've been doing it just like a lot here at the club as well as my apartment. Usually I wash stuff by hand in my apartment, a lot, but I really don't like doing that because it splashes on me and then I feel like I'm dirty from like the sink water splashing on me. Whereas here at the club, I already feel dirty anyways because I'm like, or even just like being outside my apartment, just not even at the club, but like just outside my apartment at all, outside in the world, I just feel like outside stuff is getting on me and it just feels gross. So I really don't care as much about washing my stuff here at the club in the sink because again, I already feel gross anytime I'm outside my apartment. You know, when I'm indoors in my apartment, I feel better. I feel like I can just try to keep things washed and just not covered in outdoor stuff. As soon as I step foot outside the front door, I just feel like, oh, or like even when I just put my outdoor clothes on to go outside the front door, I'm like, oh gosh, it's like all outdoor stuff now. And I'm meant to be domesticated, I think. I'm meant to be like an indoor person, but unfortunately for me, I'm single and don't get to be that way. I've never been married and I've been single since 2012, so I still have to go outdoors, unfortunately. And yeah, it just makes me feel yucky. But I still do it, you know. Oh, so yeah, today I washed 3 pairs of socks at the club last night. And I also did laundry at the club this past Friday, which was really nice. And then today, before I left, I was able to wash 6 pairs of not socks in the sink at my apartment. And that was before I left. So I didn't feel as bad about like getting sink water on me and stuff because I knew I was already going to be going out. So I was already going to be feeling gross. So but I feel like I got some stuff accomplished today. I washed 6 pairs of not socks, and then I called to make an appointment for my car for this Thursday, and oh, I have to remember that, 2 o'clock Thursday. And then I went to 2 grocery stores before coming here and doing this video. Oh, and then last night, this is like Christmas came early for me. I don't know who did this, but so normally here at the club, the only free food that I like ever see is pizza, which I try to avoid because I just don't feel good when I eat stuff like pizza. I don't know, like it just doesn't sit well in my stomach. There's like vending machine snacks, which mostly all pretty much just suck. Not stuff that I would really want to bother with. It just wouldn't really fill me up anyways, I don't think, because they're just like cheap little vending machine snacks, and most of it I wouldn't say is very healthy, you know. And then there's like pizza a lot. But other than that, I really do try to make a point to go to the grocery store before I come to work as best I can. I'll usually get like a protein bar. I try to keep a lot of protein bars on hand because that's usually what's easiest for me to try to have like a somewhat healthy snack here at work if I, you know, feel like having something on my shift. But like we have a pretty big kitchen here at the club, but there's really like hardly anything in it, like as far as like for the people that work there. There's an employee fridge, but that's more so like other people will just like keep their stuff in there like to keep it cold. There's not like stuff back there for us to really have. There's a coffee machine, but lately there's not even really coffee like provided by the club unless somebody that works here brings in their own coffee, basically. So, but it's a really big kitchen, you know, so, you know, it would be nice. I've thought in the past, like, wouldn't it be nice if there was like a fruit here on the counter for us, like maybe some bananas or some apples. I love fruit, but fruit is just so expensive and it's like heavy, like, you know, the bag that I carry around is already so heavy and I'm always carrying around all this heavy stuff. And so just like the weight of fruit, I already have to try to like get drinks, which are also heavy. And then all my bags that are so heavy and my shoes that are so heavy, my dancer shoes that are like ankle weights basically. So yeah, fruit is heavy, it's expensive, and then I'm always nervous about it going bad if I don't like eat it in time, like all right away kind of thing. Like just, I don't know. It's not something that I get as often as I would like to get. Mostly The number one reason is honestly just that it's so expensive. But there was a big ass box of oranges in the kitchen at the club last night. Like a big box. And it was kind of open on the side, but not fully open. It was open just enough to where I could get my arm in there. It was like a little hole on the side. Like there was still tape on the top, but there was like a little, like I could fit my arm in through the hole on the side. So I don't know if they were the clubs or normally when the club has stuff like that for the club, it's like limes or lemons for like the drinks at the bar. I've never really seen a big box of oranges like that here before. So I don't know, again, I probably should have checked. I don't know if it was like the clubs or if somebody that works here just brought it in for like the employees. But the box was a little bit already open and I could fit my arm in. So I did take a couple of oranges because I was just so excited to see like free food that was actually healthy. Like, oh, like juicy and just vitamin C and potassium and just like fruit for free, I think. Well, it was free for me last night because I took some. And normally I don't eat at all in the kitchen of the club where people can see me. Normally, if I'm gonna like sneak off and have one of my protein bars, it is just like me sneaking off to try to find like as private of a spot as I can because I just don't like eating in front of people. It just feels awkward to me and stresses me out. But so this is very out of character for me. But with the oranges, I literally, they were on the kitchen counter next to one of the sinks. So I took a couple oranges, I washed my hands, and I just right then and there started like eating these oranges. I mean, I rinsed them off, but I started just, like I said, I hardly ever like eat, I never eat at all in the kitchen back there where people can see me. But not only that, I was doing it this time, but not only that, I was like just tearing into these oranges with my bare hands like a savage practically. Just like, like, yes, free fruit. So I rinsed them off. Yeah, I washed my hands, but I was just going to town on these oranges. I mean, I only had a couple, but I was so, it was like Christmas came early for me. I was so happy to have them and just like free fruit. It was like one of the best things that's happened to me in a long time. And I have no idea where they came from. I have no idea who brought them in. And I hope the box, when I left last night, the big box was still there. Somebody had moved it off to the side, but it was like still there. So I want to think that maybe somebody had just brought them in for the employees. I'm hoping, but like, I hope it's not a bad thing that I just like took some without even asking. I didn't even know who to ask because I don't know where they came from. I don't know. They just appeared like magic. And I was just so, I couldn't stop myself. I was just like, oh, juicy. So that was so nice. Maybe Santa brought them, but yeah, that was the happiest thing that's happened to me in so long, I feel like, that I can think of. Anyways, I only have 2 minutes to go sign in for work. So on that note, I'm going to sign off for now. I really hope this video was not muted. It says that there's 8 people watching, so that just wouldn't make sense for there to not be audio in this. If that is the case, I apologize. Hopefully people can read that through my lip, like read me, my lips saying that if they can't hear it. There better be audio in this or I'm gonna be really pissed off. But if that is the case, I'm just gonna redo the whole thing as best I can. I've done it before and I'll do it again if I have to. Anyways, I hope you guys are well. And hopefully I can come back on soon. I'm hoping for Thursday because, oh yes, I have that appointment for my car on Thursday, 2 o'clock. Yeah, I hope you guys are well and staying warm. But peace out for now. Till next time.